Okay.
Okay, thank you. All right. Hi, Tammy. Welcome. Please make yourself comfortable. How's your day going so far?
I'm okay. I'm a little nervous.
Well, it is nice to meet you. My name is Bree, and also that is completely normal when it comes to our first meeting. Many people do feel that way as well. My role today is just to make sure that you are fully comfortable, and I want to get a better understanding of you in terms of your situation, and just to explore different types of support that would be most helpful. Everything that we do discuss, I want you to know, is confidential, which means I will not be sharing your information outside of this office without your permission. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does.
Perfect. I want to share that I am going to be asking questions just to get a better understanding of your life, your goals, and different challenges that you face. And with these questions, it will be best just to have honesty, and also this will give me a better shaping on how to help you in the future. How does that sound?
Sounds wonderful.
Perfect. Okay. So, just so you know, before we get started, I just want to share a little bit about me and my role and what you can expect from me when it comes to our sessions. I do want you to know that I am a case manager. I am trained to provide support, resources, and guidance in order to help you meet your personal, family, and financial goals. Also, everything that you do share with me, I want you to know is confidential, like I highlighted a bit earlier. And this means that I won't be able to share your information with anyone without your consent. Only we have just a few where that boundary can be broken, and that's only if it is a risk to your harm, like suicidal ideation of yourself or others, if there's any child abuse or neglect when it comes to children and also elder abuse as well, and if I'm required by a court order. You can also refuse to answer any questions if I ask you something that might seem too invasive, and you can participate fully in whatever you want to contribute to because this is your service at the end of the day. And I want to make sure that you get the best options that you can receive with working with me collaboratively because this is a two-way street. Okay?
Yes, I understand. I have no questions at this point in time. Not quite yet.
Perfect. That means I am doing my job. Okay. So now that you get a clear understanding, I think that it would be good if we began our session. Sound good?
Absolutely, it does.
All right. So I want to get a little bit more information out of you because we do get a profile about the new incoming clients that we do have when it comes to our services. However, I don't want to go off of paper. When I'm meeting with you, I want to know more about you. I want to know more about your family and what brought you here today.
Again, I live with my wife, April, and my son, Todd. I share custody with my ex-husband, Carrie, of our small child.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that with me. And how is it when it comes to balancing time with Todd and April?
It's hard. Sometimes it's difficult. It can be extremely difficult at sometimes. Carrie doesn't trust me because of my past, and Todd, well, he's still kind of distant.
That makes sense. Sometimes when it comes to rebuilding our trust after years of separation, it's not that easy, especially when it's kind of like re-knowing that person, you know?
Absolutely.
Yes.
When we read or play games or sometimes just try to spend time together, it seems happy. He seems
Mhm.
happy. I know I'm always happy with it, but he doesn't always want to talk or listen to me about school or tell me things that's actually going on with him or how he feels.
I can imagine because, Todd being so young, it sometimes can feel challenging, especially with what you've told me. But it does sound like overall you do have different positive moments that you guys can share.
Yes, we do. I really enjoy spending time with him. When I do get a chance to spend that one-on-one time, I am hoping to restore and build the trust that we um, somewhat lost along the way.
Hmm. Good. That's really good to know because that can definitely be an area that we can improve upon. So, I do also know that you have been diagnosed with bipolar disorder. How do you currently manage that with your symptoms day to day?
Well, I'm taking my medication as prescribed, and I see my therapist at least once per week.
That's really good. What strategies have helped you the most in coping with different challenging moods?
Well, I journal. I like to write my thoughts or feelings down. Sometimes I just meditate, a quiet area, sometimes a quiet location is it allows me peace, some alone time, helps me to gather my thoughts at times. And then I've actually taken the opportunity to visit maybe one or two support groups.
That's really good. And I also like that you want to implement one-on-one time as well, just to really gather all of your thoughts together. Are there times when you have noticed your mood changes, and has it affected your relationships or your parenting?
Yes, sometimes I get irritable and withdrawn, and Todd notices it, which really upsets me because I don't like him to see that or notice that. But I do get notice that I get irritable at times.
Well, I think that it's a good first step that you are able to tell when you have different emotions. And I'm sure with us helping you along the way, we can also implement that as a part of your treatment.
Absolutely. I
Good.
think I hope that we can. And I think that if you're willing to work with me, adding some of those things to my treatment process, I will begin to learn other ways to manage when I get into those irritable moments or times and I'm not quite um, who I am or who I
Hmm.
need to be around Todd.
Hmm. That is very doable. So I know that you previously have been in recovery for the past 2 years because I see that you also do go to your support groups. So, what has been overall helpful?
Therapy, as I've mentioned, I've been to several, well, a few support groups, as well as
Hmm.
having a sponsor. That helps as well.
That's really good that you're able to have one-on-ones with not only your therapist, but also sponsors and get to hear different stories as well from other people that you might meet in groups.
Mhm.
And I think that's very important that you are acknowledging different areas. When it comes to your sobriety, though, have there been any situations or triggers that might be challenging in terms of your recovery?
Absolutely. I think my ex stresses me a lot.
Mm,
So sometimes when I'm speaking with him, the stress factor, it just irritates me really bad. So stress with Carrie or financial stressors sometimes just takes me completely out of my comfort zone. But talking to my sponsor helps.
I completely can understand where that's coming from. Financial issues, overall, it is something that is very hard to talk about.
Hmm.
And I see also in your profile that you are receiving Social Security income. How is that working in terms of your needs?
It's barely enough. Um, I try to make ends meet, and I do have to supply financial needs and also, of course, clothing and take care of the needs of my child,
Mhm.
but it doesn't do what I actually needed to do. I like to work or have more income so that we could buy a house eventually.
That's a really good goal to have, though, for wanting to get a house. And I hope with our help that we are able to really set aside some time and payments to eventually get to that goal. Because it's really important to have goals, especially in the process of this journey. And with that in mind, have you considered what kind of work that you would want to be doing?
Well, I used to work in customer service, but I am definitely open to learning something new.
Okay. That gives us options, especially when we can explore different job programs or training when it comes to the different things that you have learned in customer service and how
Mhm.
we could potentially provide it in the future. So,
Absolutely, I do agree.
good. So, when it comes to your relationship with Todd, what are some small ways that we could start rebuilding more trust with him?
I feel consistency with our one-on-one time, um, like reading together or doing some activities that he enjoys, um, that will allow us to begin to bond more and just for me to become more consistent with that in its frequency.
I completely agree. I think that's a really good approach. How do you think if you would communicate this with Terry just to make sure that there is consistency both ways and there is no conflict that could happen?
Maybe an email or a parenting app, just to use as a means of coordinating our schedules.
I think that's a really good practical strategy to have, especially just to avoid conflict and everything is clear in terms of communication. So, based on everything that we've discussed, it seems like our majority key areas are going to be strengthening your relationship with your son Todd, improving financial stability, and maintaining mental health recovery. Does that sound accurate to you?
Absolutely, yes, it does. It seems that you have been listening, and everything that you've said thus far is very much accurate as to what I'm needing currently in my life.
Perfect. I'm glad that I'm able to help. I really want to make these goals actionable and obtainable. And in terms of Todd, I can already see that we can definitely plan a lot of weekly quality time and we can track progress too in terms of how he can be more open with you in terms of trust. And for finances, I think it would be really good if we do start to research different training programs or even just part-time work so that you still have enough quality time for everyone in your relationships, but also you are providing a stable income. And in terms of your mental health, I like to say that you have a very good track of therapy and support groups, but I just want to definitely make sure that is still a priority in continuing just therapy for bipolar and also your recovery support as well.
Yes, definitely.
Perfect. So I think all of these are really good realistic goals, especially if we can continue to go down this path that we have, especially when it comes to exploring your mental health with your recovery as well and your different challenges that we can be able to slowly but surely definitely improve because this is not just going to be, an overnight thing. You know what I mean?
Yes, I absolutely do. I do know that it will take time. Nothing is an immediate thing, but as long as I am consistent in trying to work with you
Hmm.
and to work in the other areas that I am receiving services like my support groups and things like that, I feel that it will get better. Um, and definitely, I will be experiencing less and less stress in the process as we begin to organize some of the things that we've discussed.
Hmm. Focusing definitely on our next session, having a more created and detailed action plan just to make sure that we reach each area that you are currently struggling with in order to then connect you to the good resources that you do need and that we can provide for you. I think it would be really important just to start writing down some small, just really small, achievable ways to spend quality time with Todd, like how you were saying your one on one time. And also, you can note different skills and interests that you can do and how it can improve for different times of work. Because I think having multiple types is going to be really good in terms of getting a job, just to expand your variety, And tracking any triggers that affect your mood or your recovery will also be really important so we can implement that so we can keep going in a positive direction.
Okay, and I wanted to say thank you because I do feel really understood. I feel you have taken time to listen, and I feel that you are genuinely concerned with my concerns and have a, I guess, open mind and a willingness to work with me in this process. So I do appreciate that. And thank you very much.
Of course, and thank you so much for coming and being open with me. And I hope that we continue to be open together in terms of this process. Do you have any questions or concerns before we end today?
No, not at all.
Okay, I look forward to seeing you next week. You have a great rest of your day.
You as well. And
Thank
thank you
you.
again.